Keep in mind tonight, Biden is battling numerous self-inflicted crises at home and abroad. Now the administration plans to exempt some Afghans that were the old Taliban government. He's going to take them. They're on no-fly list. He's going to lift the no-fly list. In other words, let them come into America. Did they change their values all of a sudden? Are they against this radical Sharia law that they imposed on the people when they were in charge of the Islamic Emirates of Afghanistan? And meanwhile, Biden's special envoy is now warning that the U.S. must accept and prepare for a fully nuclear Iran. You mean the people that chant death to America, death to Israel? We're going to let them get nuclear weapons, and we're okay with that? And Joe's Defense Department, intel community had no clue, apparently, whatsoever about China's new hypersonic weapons that can deliver nuclear weapons. They welcome the stiff competition and Biden's silence on China's repeated, quote, reunification or takeover, or really threats with Taiwan. It's been deafening. And Joe's not lifted a finger to help Taiwan in stopping China and their invasion of Taiwan airspace with their fighter jets day and night. Here with reaction to all of that, former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, who's speaking with us, by the way, near the USS Midway in San Diego. Great to see you, Mr. Secretary. Well, it's 66 days now, Americans trapped behind enemy lines. Let's start with the China question first, then we'll go to Iran, then we'll go to Afghanistan. On China's clear political ambitions to reunify with Taiwan, Joe Biden is not lifting a finger. What should he be doing?
What we did for 4 years, Sean, was make clear to the people of Taiwan that we'd be there to support them, to provide what they needed so they could defend themselves. And we made clear to the Chinese Communist Party that it was completely unacceptable if they took military action against the island of Taiwan. Those two basic facts were things President Trump was very clear he was prepared to defend. They could see that we did that elsewhere in the world, when we struck Qasem Soleimani, when we fired rockets into Syria, when they used chemical weapons crossing President Trump's red line. I think they all knew that we were serious about protecting Americans. I think they realized that the debacle in Afghanistan, the fact the Iranians fired missiles from the Gaza Strip into Israel have all shown American weakness. And I see that the four things you walked through tonight, those are all things where America is showing weakness. And when you do that, our adversaries will do everything they can to put us at risk and to crush us.
Well, and I didn't even mention the Russia part. Now, let me go to the Iranian part. If, in fact, you marry this death to America, death to Israel mantra, or convert or die mantra of the Iranian mullahs, and you empower them with nuclear weapons, which now the Biden administration is signaling, I guess they're going to be, that they'll accept, what is the risk to the world at that point? Because to me, it seems very real, because I imagine that the mullahs might be thinking they're doing God's will by firing that weapon at either Israel or the U.S. or another country.
I can't believe they're going to permit this to happen. President Biden is on record multiple times saying he will never permit Iran to have a nuclear weapon. I saw what Robert Malley, the special envoy, began to signal. If you're the Israelis, you know that you can't live with an Iran with a nuclear weapon. I must say this puts them at real risk. It puts the whole world at risk that they'll proliferate these very nuclear weapons, right? It may not be the case that they'll fire them. They could distribute them. Iran is known for selling weapons all across the world. This is a very serious matter. We were determined. We delivered, putting the harshest sanctions on the Ayatollah and his henchmen that Iran had ever seen. We had isolated them. We built out friendships with the Israelis. The Abraham Accords brought the Gulf states alongside of us. This is how you deter aggression. Allowing Iran to get a nuclear weapon puts our partner and friend Israel at risk. It puts the Gulf at risk. It creates risk for the United States of America as well.
Let me bounce back to China, because I meant to ask you about this hypersonic weapon. Apparently, the Biden administration didn't see it coming. Their Defense Department didn't see it coming. Their intel community didn't see it coming. Not only are they shoving it in our face, they're capable, apparently, of launching nuclear weapons with this new technology. Now, the Biden administration said they welcome stiff competition. To me, that is a clear and present danger to the United States of America.
The fact that they claim they welcome stiff competition is just so odd to say about the Chinese Communist Party. These aren't competitors. This is an adversary who has made clear they want the world to look like their Marxist-Leninist ideologic world. Now this capability that flies at multiples of the speed of sound, that's what hypersonic translates into, is very difficult to defend against. The United States under President Obama did nothing to build out defensive systems. We began that work. We began to build out our own set of capabilities. This is really important. The fact that the Chinese now can deliver at least the missile component of this program to within a couple of dozen miles. Think how big Los Angeles is, right? To within a couple of dozen miles of the target is a serious matter, and one that our Department of Defense and the President himself must take seriously and begin to respond to, not by claiming they welcome that kind of stiff competition. That's just crazy.
79 days ago, Joe Biden said he wouldn't leave a single American behind in Afghanistan. 66 days ago, he abandoned Americans, their families, thousands of green card holders, and tens of thousands of our Afghan allies. He hasn't mentioned any of them in 49 days. Do you have any hope outside groups or Joe Biden's plan to bribe the Islamic Emirates of Afghanistan to get our people back?
Sadly, I'm counting on outside groups, private citizens. I've been working with some, trying to make sure we get every last American out of there. I hope the government will do their share, but there's no evidence they're prepared to do that, Sean.
Never thought I'd see that, Mr. Secretary, in my lifetime. Never thought I'd see Americans abandoned behind terrorist lines after a president promises he wouldn't do it. Thank you for being with us, sir. We appreciate it. Well, hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.